Do your thing!
Hello everyone, and welcome to Final Fantasy Theory.
What if I told you that the hero of Final Fantasy Tactics was never meant to be ordinary? That his resistance to the Zodiac stones, his ability to stand against powers that corrupt everyone else, wasn't just a matter of willpower or luck, but something far more fundamental. Something inherited. Because when you look closely at Ramza Beoulve and his sister Alma Beoulve, they don't behave like normal people interacting with the Zodiac stones. They are anomalies. The stones don't twist them the way they twist others. Ramza doesn't fear them, he invokes them. And Alma isn't destroyed by their power. She's chosen by it. That kind of compatibility isn't random, and it isn't something the story ever fully explains. Even Ultima recognizes it.
Impossible. This end to meet. I see it now. Too late. They knew. His plot, my vanquisher in times long past.
When she confronts Ramza, she doesn't just see a stubborn opponent standing in her way. She sees something deeper, something in his blood. A lineage tied to someone who had faced that same power before. The game never gives us a name for that person, but it doesn't need to. Because in Beoulves, history is rarely preserved as truth. It's only ever preserved as myth. So, if Ramza and Alma aren't random exceptions, then the real question becomes, where does that bloodline begin? To answer that, we have to go back 1,000 years to Final Fantasy XII, to a royal marriage that was meant to shape the future of two nations. Ashe and Rossler Nabradia were not just lovers. They were symbols of unity, of stability, of a future that would endure. And like any royal union, their marriage wasn't just political or emotional. It was practical. An heir would not have been optional. It would have been expected, and it would have been immediate. But that future never came. War broke out almost immediately after their marriage. Rossler was killed, Dalmasca fell, and Ashe was forced into hiding. To the world, she was dead. Her story ended before it ever had a chance to continue. Right? However, just as the Empire didn't know that Ashe didn't really end her own life, maybe, just maybe, history didn't know that House Nabradia survived with an heir that no one ever knew. By the time we step into the world through Van, the war that destroyed Dalmasca isn't recent. It's already years in the past. That detail matters more than it seems, because it means Ashe didn't just vanish overnight. No, she had time. Time to survive, time to disappear, and time for events that would never be recorded in any official history. If Ashe conceived a child with Rossler, and given the nature of their marriage, that's not just a possibility, it's a reasonable expectation, then that child could not exist publicly, not under Arcadian occupation, not in a world that believed Ashe was dead. That child would have to be hidden, raised outside the identity of royalty, outside the reach of history itself, a bloodline erased on paper, but not in reality. And then steps in House Beoulve. By the time of Final Fantasy Tactics, the Beoulves are a noble house, but not a royal one. They are respected, influential, but not central to the throne. Exactly the kind of lineage you would expect from a bloodline that had been deliberately removed from power generations ago. And yet, with the family, something remains. Something that sets Ramza and Alma apart from everyone else. They can do what others cannot. They can stand before divine power without being consumed by it. They can interact with the stones not as victims, but as participants. That's not something you learn. It's not something you train into existence. It's something you inherit. In Final Fantasy XII, power, especially power tied to the gods, to the Nethicite, it doesn't just exist in isolation. It responds to the individual. It recognizes will, intent, and most importantly, compatibility. Ashe is one of the only people in that world who can stand before that kind of power and refuse it without breaking. She doesn't just resist it, she understands it. So when we see Ramza command the Zodiac stones, and Alma become the perfect vessel for forces that would destroy anyone else, we're not seeing a coincidence, we're seeing continuity, a hidden bloodline carrying forward a rare and specific compatibility across centuries.
You want revenge?
A lineage that began with a queen the world thought was lost. Now, your first instinct might be, this is impossible. There's no way that Ramza is related to Ashe. But I want you to really think about Ashe from 12 and all that she accomplished, all that she was able to do. She was able to command all of the Espers, those who are the Lucavi in Final Fantasy Tactics. That takes a great deal of power to be able to command that kind of will. But that does beg a few questions. The Beoulves descended from Ashe and Rossler. Then that makes me wonder, who is Saint Ajora, the one for whom the Zodiac Braves and the religion of Galbados came about? Well, what if I told you that not only do I have an answer, but that answer is connected with what we're talking about right now? Because now the question isn't just where the Beoulves came from. It's what happened to Ashe after the world stopped looking for her. After the world stopped believing in the gods. Because next time, we're going to uncover a deeper truth. The true origin of all the Final Fantasy Tactics problems. Ashe is Saint Ajora.
I beseech you!